Welcome back, my fellow freedom lovers, and today we're going to do another holster review. It has been a while since I've done a straight up holster review, and if you're looking for a massive review of all kinds of holsters, I will leave a link down below for that. But today we're going to be talking about the LAS Concealment, or LAS Concealment like some people call it, and their Seiya 2.0. Now, Seiya, if you don't know, is actually the Japanese word for scabbard. So being that this is the modern day sword, Seiya is, kind of a good name for it. Now, buying a holster, no matter which one you end up going with, is a very personal and important decision because the comfortability of that and the wearability is going to play a massive role in how much you actually wear what your chosen tool is. You've got to really put some thought into it, not just buy whatever the person at the gun store tells you or what you see online. Do a little bit of research, watch some other videos out there, get some people's opinions, and make the best decision for you, both fit, clothing wise, and of course functionality and budget as well. And before we go any further, a huge thank you to one of my Patreon supporters who made this video possible, and that is going to be Pete M. Huge thank you for the support. I saw what you did and I greatly appreciate it. And moving on into those holsters, like I said, extremely important decision because it's going to determine how much you are going to wear this. Now, there are multiple different styles. We're going to talk about specifically only the pistol holster today. This one does have a light on it, but they also do make other ones like this, which is kind of like that sidecar style design. I do have a video on this one specifically that I will link below. It's really up to you to choose on which kind of version you want, and we're going to explain that a little bit more in detail after we look at this thing and show you the details of this holster, because your body and clothing style may or may not allow you to conceal one of those over the other. We're also going to be talking about very important concealment positions and what to identify in them, and it's basically, it goes off a clock. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, like a clock. The front of your body being noon, and then 1, 2, 3 is the side, 6 is the rear. That's where that saying, watch your 6 comes from. Watch your back, right? So if you're new to the holster game or you're new to the Second Amendment game, thank you for finally taking it seriously. We welcome you, we appreciate you, but if you hear those terms, 3 o'clock appendix, which is in front, that's what they mean. One of the things we really need to be honest about when it comes to a holster like this Seiya 2.0, which is right around 80 bucks or something, there are coupon codes and sales out there all the time on them, you're not going to get a holster of this quality for much cheaper. We've got to be honest about that. Some of the things that go into making these holsters, the modularity of them, which this does have, which we'll talk about here in a minute, the way you can swap this from inside the waistband, outside the waistband, add different things to it, take away different things to it. Not every holster is going to have that. Some of your more basic holsters are going to be much, much cheaper, but you're not going to get, per se, the quality or modularity of some of the ones that are more expensive. So we need to be very honest about that up front. And LAS Concealment did actually send this holster out for review, as they did send out that Rona 3.0. They've been very cool to the channel, so I thank them for the opportunity to make some more videos for you guys and help kind of guide you through holster decisions. Well, let's go ahead and get right into this thing, show you the details, the quality, explain a little bit of that modularity that I've talked about that went into the LAS Concealment Seiya 2.0. And then, of course, we're going to show you how it actually wears on the body in those mostly carry positions. But before we go any further, make sure you guys do all of the things, and those things are like, share, subscribe. Definitely turn those bell notification icons on. I will leave links for this stuff down below if you're interested in checking anything out. And of course, that Patreon link will be down below. But we are going to get into these holsters right now. Let's go ahead and knock out this Seiya 2.0 from LAS Concealment here. Let's just talk about the finish quality. One of the major things I look for, the finish work. Are there still bandsaw marks in it? Are there still parts that aren't polished off, cleaned off, and just very nicely finished when it comes down to it? That, and then the mold that they are using, how tightly is it vacuum sealed, and does it form to the actual pistol and the light for that retention? Everything here top notch. The finish work is exactly what I would expect. There's no bandsaw marks, there's no tooling marks, there's no fraying still on here from where they've drilled. They've done a great job finishing off those nice little touches to the holster, which says a lot about the company as themselves. As far as clickable retention, people always ask. You can hear that lock in. Again, you can hear it lock in. So you'll see a little divot right there where my pointer finger is. That's actually locking in here to retain that between the light. Anytime you add a light, okay, it's wider than the actual pistol itself. You need to find a better place to lock that in now, and that's where it is. Talking about the modularity of this thing, you can see all of the holes are drilled on both sides. So this thing can be swapped whichever way you want it. You can move the belt loops around. You can get all of the different style belt loops. These are the tuckable ones, so you can put these around your belt and then you tuck your shirt in behind it if you're wearing tucked in. You can move them up, down, you can cant them. You can see there's a little edge here. I believe these holes you can actually even put one of the retention straps over it. Just a lot of good stuff going on with this holster. You do have that mod wing right here that has different sizes so you can adjust it to your liking. Also, you have your adjustable retention right in here if you want a little bit tighter of a fit. Overall, well thought out, good stuff, and exactly what I would expect from LAS Concealment. Now, LAS makes all of their own molds for these. They don't buy any aftermarket stuff. They have their stuff CNC machined and tooled, so they're not using off-the-shelf molds. Another thing too, just so you guys are aware, even though you saw it already, obviously this is optics ready, suppressor height sight ready, has a very good standoff right here so the Kydex is not jamming into your activation buttons there for your optic, tearing them up over time. It's giving you plenty of room to get your good grip on this, that initial purchase, yet still covers up the magazine release quite well. Well thought out, well done. Again, I've got that good, what is it, about a medium sweat guard. Sometimes I run the high, living in Arizona, but these come with the medium, which is fine. So well done. Let's go ahead, talk about how this thing fits on the body, clothing, give some examples of the positions that you can wear this in. Now that you've had a really good opportunity to see the quality of that thing up close and a little bit of that modularity with all the different things you can do with it, it's kind of crazy that it can be left or right or inside, outside. All of that is preset in there, and they do make all their own molds custom. They do not buy those prefab molds. The owner over there does a pretty cool thing. He gets all of his own stuff made and he makes these holsters based off of what he wants, he designs, and they're quite popular and they're quite modular, as you saw. A lot of how these fit, like I said, is your body type, how fit you are, the belt you're wearing, of course, that clothing. We're gonna go ahead and pull the lens out a little bit so you can see how this fits on me. Now, to give you guys some reference, I'm about 6'4" and I'm about 260 pounds. I'm wearing a fairly normal shirt. The tighter the shirt you wear, the less you're gonna be able to conceal and the more you're going to print. Now, printing is when you can see a recognizable piece of the pistol when it's tucked under your clothing. So let me go ahead and get this lens pulled out and I will show you the positions that I normally use when I am carrying concealed. You're definitely not gonna be able to see my face in this, so you're gonna have to awkwardly stare at my crotch for a little bit. So what we're gonna be talking about right up close here is you can kind of see how this fits. Now, what I'm wearing here today is actually a Gen 5 45 MOS. So this is the 19 length slide and the 17 length grip right here. Now, I do have that mag wheel on there, which causes it to have more surface area and print a little bit more, but you can see how this fits on me from the front. You can see from the side right here. And even if I turn, you'll see a little bit of that mag wheel still very concealed. Now, if you're wearing tighter clothing, say you're really pulled back, wearing those hipster skinny jeans or shirts, you're gonna see a lot more of that. And again, that is really dependent on how you choose to carry and the clothing you choose to wear. Now, you can use this holster in multiple different positions. Say you want to carry on the side, over here. That would be your 3 o'clock position. You're going to get a lot more printing here, especially when you go to bend over like this. You're going to see that pistol grip stick out. Now, that would be considered 3 o'clock. Now, if we were to move this back around here to say that like 4 to 5 o'clock position,
a few moments later.
Apparently, you've got to be a contortionist to get your body into that position. So this is what it's going to look like right there. You're going to have a decent amount of printing, especially if you are to bend over. It's really going to show right there. And this is the least optimal position to draw from because you have to come so far back. Drawing from the hip is a little bit better, but there's still a lot of movement, whereas drawing from the front is straight up, and why so many people go with appendix carry. Now, as you can see, some of those positions are definitely far easier to access, to draw from, and just flat out to put on. My body style does just not work well with anything behind about that 3 o'clock position. as you kind of see me struggling to get the holster and to twist my upper body to try and get it in my waistline. That's just not where I like to carry. There's definitely a lot more printing there, although it is a little bit more of a safer position to carry in because the barrel is pretty much just pointed out and away from your butt. Now on the 3 o'clock, that straight hip side, definitely a safe place to carry. A little bit more movement required to draw from. Pretty comfortable, but you're going to show and it's going to make you appear wider. Now the appendix rig straight in the front, and this can be worn in any of these positions. It's the fastest to draw from. It's very comfortable, easy to access, but depending on who you are and how safe you are, it is not necessarily the safest way to conceal because think of everything it's pointed at. It's pointed at your naughty bits. Now, if you're practicing all of your safety rules, you should be fine. But again, overall, in general, if there was a safest place to carry, the safest place to carry would be on an outside the waistband hip holster because none of your body is crossing the line of that muzzle. But it's really up to you to choose and determine how you want to carry whatever it is that you are carrying. Clothing is going to make the overall determination on when and how you can or cannot conceal something. I wear clothing about like this every day. It's not too tight, not too loose, nice and comfortable. This being the Shall Not Comply, the right shirt that the good people over at Shall Not Comply took my brand on and made. I will leave links down below for that if you are interested. So if you are thinking about an appendix or a 3 o'clock or something a little bit more further back than that, you need to understand that these are going to show in different ways depending on the clothing you wear. When it comes down to it, LAS Concealment makes a great holster. I've got a couple of them. They are very comfortable for what they are, but you're going to know you're wearing a holster. You have to understand it's not going to be like it's not there at all. They have a good design, it's very modular, and for the price, you are getting what you pay for. Well, I hope you guys liked learning about that LAS Concealment holster. I will leave links for all that stuff down below, and definitely check out the review if you're into the kind of more magazine carrier design as well on the Ronin 3.0. This is an extremely comfortable one that carries the mag and that hammer up in the front in the appendix rig. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, turn the bell notification icons on, get out there and enjoy some range time. Practice at home. Dry practice your draw, dry practice your press, and make sure you're staying proficient in these times of ammo shortness. But enjoy something with one of your Second Amendment rights, and I will see you guys on the next one.
A few moments later.
Perfect.